How's everybody enjoying their great Monday? Everybody have a good Easter? I hope so. I'm going to sit here and talk for about 2 minutes till we get a few people in the chat. But anyway, I hope everybody did enjoy your Sunday, whether you celebrate Easter or not. You know, time for fellowship, that type of stuff. But anyway, first sign of spring, right? This year. We're going to get another little bout of winter here in the next couple days. Cold air, cold and windy. Not, below zero type of cold, but it's going to get a little chilly. But anyway, we're going to talk about gold and Bitcoin today. Going up, the dollar going down, and our society just collapsing by the wayside. People love to get excited. And this Kamala Anthony deal is definitely getting some people excited. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So, both sides are using this to their advantage. It's amazing how, never let a crisis go to waste. Is that Rob Emanuel said that? Obama's chief of staff that later became mayor of Chicago. I think that's what it was. But anyway, it's just the summer of love is going to be starting up again. So be nice if we could just, I'll talk about that subject, but at the end. But we got to get into the financial stuff first. There should be a few people showing up. I tell you what, gold prices, are you kidding me? Makes me almost want to become a prospector. They never did find the mother lode for the California gold rush in 49, Sutter's Mill and all that. Never did find a mother lode for that. Anyway, $3,400 an ounce. That just shows you how much our dollar's losing value. I should have looked this up. I should have did a little bit more research on the gold prices, but hasn't it gone up like $1,000 an ounce in the last 3 months? If gold were to double in 6 months, what's that say about the dollar? But like I say, this is crazy time. So, like I say, I'll go out there, I'll start panning again. It's like the old timers with the old pan, trying to get gold in there and stuff. Doesn't take much. Jeepers, imagine if you, especially if you get areas that had the gold rush before, and then they get that rain, heavy rains and stuff, and then if the mother lode wasn't found, it just keeps dropping more gold into the streams and stuff. But $3,400 an ounce. That's still around what, some people make a month in wages, working their butts off 50, 60 hours a week. Anyway, and then Bitcoin going up. Now that's a little bit more risky to me. I don't quite understand that, where people would put, I don't quite understand Bitcoin to begin with. I would never own it. I know that. But that just doesn't seem as secure as gold would be. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Dr. Corrupt 101. I like the name. Owen Thatcher. Oh, you guys, I don't know if you're new to my channel, but you need to go check out my thoughts of the day, especially the last ones I put on there. They're really getting a lot of traction. Anyway, I do that to make people think. So, but could you imagine, like I say, I think gold's gone up $1,000 in the last 3 months an ounce. $1,000. Remember, it was the big breaks 2,000, then it breaks 2,500. Now it breaks 3,000 and 3,400. It doesn't seem like anything's going to stop it. But eventually, when silver does follow, this is one reason why silver will never be the 5-to-1 to gold or the 15-to-1 to gold like it used to be, because it's an industrial metal. It's used in everything. Can you imagine paying? Well, people probably pay $4,000 for a cell phone, but can you imagine paying $6,000 for just a regular TV? I mean, it's more of a commercial industrial metal now than it is used for money. Gold is the standard, but when stuff gets crazy, silver will. Oh, it's going to climb up there big time. That's going to give people whiplash on how fast silver is going to climb. So, anyway, but dollar's just losing it. This is what happens when money is printed and not earned. A dollar bill has to be earned or it's worthless. And what I mean by earned, you sweating over it, your money making money, you investing it and it goes into a business and they make money with your money, that type of stuff. If it's just printed, it's not worth nothing. Okay? The thing, we only got so much in this country, it's only worth so much. Okay, there's only so much original value to it. You can keep piling money into the system, okay? And you just got to spend more of those dollars to buy something that really hasn't gone up in price. It's just, inflation and all this stuff just makes it hard for the poor guy to be poor. Me personally, I like being poor and humble. I like being a simple man. And believe me, they're trying to outlaw that. Even trying to open up a bank account these days is crazy. So, but, when the credit markets start freezing up, that's when I worry. Whether the Dow Jones falls or not, it's when the credit markets freeze up. Because every business and everything lives on credit. And when nobody borrows money, like when banks stopped borrowing money to each other, what was it, the repo market? When our economy should have crashed and the government stepped in and they took over because banks weren't trusting each other. Say when the credit markets freeze up and companies don't have money even for payroll anymore. Anyway, it could get nasty. So I don't see gold stopping. You can blame it on the tariffs or sort of. The thing is, we got too much monopoly money in the system. Our economy's basically built on bullshit, not economic, principles at all. Not the ones I learned anyway. When they say debt is an asset, since when? Debt is only an asset once it becomes paid off. You sit there, somebody owes you $50,000. You ain't got $50,000 and you're coming in unless that guy's paying it. So anyway, debt's an asset now. So interesting to me. Now, let's talk about society completely collapsing. I mean, do we really have to have another summer of love over somebody getting killed? Okay, what these people are doing on both sides. And I think the father's in shock. The father's dealing with shock right now, okay? Can you imagine losing your kid to a horrific scene? Okay, and then you want to grieve. And everybody likes to grieve in private. That's why people pull their shades in their houses and stuff. And all you got everywhere is people supporting and people that are yelling at you because they think you're just this terrible person. The guy's in shock. He's probably losing his mind right now. And all these people are doing, we're doing it for you. We're doing it for Austin. They're doing it for Carmelo. No. Why don't we take the race out of it and then put the law in instead? Okay? Let them have their day in court before we all got to blow up the country before they even have their day in court. But it's all becoming a comical sideshow. Another O.J. Simpson, another George Floyd. Okay? This kid killed another kid. Egged on the fight. Wasn't even a fight. Put your hands on me and you'll find out. Well, he's grabbing his knife in his bag. You know, and where's the root problem to all this? I don't know. All this hate and discontent and telling them your neighbor's your enemy and stuff, and getting these kids that are their minds are just developing to start believing this hate-filled crap because that kid's white. He hates you. He should have white guilt. Shit, I ain't gonna feel guilty. I had to work my ass off my whole life. You talk about growing up poor. And then they want to paint Austin Metcalf as a racist. Really? His social media platforms don't look like that. Either do his black friends. Like I say, if you hate somebody because of their color, is that the only reason you like somebody is because of their color? What about this content of character stuff? You know, people flock together because they're the same. The tribal mentality. They don't care what color you are. All they care is that you're on the same page as they are. Yeah. There's a lot of black conservatives. Oh my goodness gracious. I knew a lot of them in the service. One of them was my best friend. Anyway, you know, all got to come down to the lowest common denominator. You're a different color, so I get to hate you because my teacher said so, or Jacqueline Crockett said so. That woman needs to be shut up. No, I'm sorry. There's freedom of speech. She needs to be held accountable for what she said and charged with numerous things like terroristic threats against Elon Musk. I want something to happen on my birthday to that man. And then they never do it themselves. They got to sit there and egg these people on to do it, these weak-minded individuals. And not only weak-minded, but remember, pharmaceutical drugs. Got to have them on pharmaceutical drugs from when they're 2 years old for the rest of their lives. Because that'll make them better. So we don't even know if this Kamala Carmelo Anthony was on any type of antidepressants, antipsychotics. You know, we never find that out about these children killers. You know, we never know about the kids that shot up the schools, what kind of medications they were on. And the pharmaceutical companies are never held responsible. Anyway, subject for another day. I don't want to get YouTube's algorithms all upset because I may be saying not agreeing with the people that supply 40% of their income. But yeah, all this hate, discontent. And the kid was looking for a fight. You go into another team's tent and you come to school with a knife, okay? To a track meet, and you're skipping school. It just, you know, it should be first-degree murder. I mean, he's grabbed the knife and said, touch me and find out. Okay, that's premeditated right there. He already knew, he had already in his head what he was going to do. Victim. Anyway, and like I say, what his dad has to deal with, trying to deal with the loss of his son when all this media garbage is going on. You know how people can help the family out? Go send them somewhere where there's nobody for a while. Off to a deserted island where they don't even got to hear this shit. Where they can deal with his brother died in his brother's arms. And like I say, the father of Austin's showing all this compassion towards Anthony's family, and they don't care. They're getting money. That's the thing about the U.S., in the military. Drop a bomb on somebody's house, kill their family, they come home from work, they might be a little pissed off, you think, but we're just going to give them some money to make it all better. Anyway, this is all going to blow up into a shit show. This is what they want. This is why they're stroking it. If they don't cut it out, I feel that father may do damage to himself. I mean, guy's losing his mind. I haven't lost a child, okay? Thank God. But I have, dealt with parents that have. It'll drive you freaking crazy. That's what they all say. It'll drive you crazy. And then he's got to listen to this stuff everywhere. Anyway, but that's compassionate America, right? It's all about making the buck. We were taught in school, we were taught to go out and be happy. Pursue your happiness. You get happy, the money will come. Now it's all about making that fast buck. Give, send, go, or whatever, who's giving them that stuff. Wasn't it Canadian truckers that got their funds suspended because some legal stuff? Anyway, like I say, it's all bias. It's all how somebody feels. And if you think rationally about something or look at something logically and don't let your emotions get involved, there's something wrong with you. Well, you people are getting your emotions involved and getting the whole world worked up. We should just let the court system do their thing. Okay? We all know he's guilty of murder. I believe he's guilty of first-degree murder. And I believe that the death penalty should be instated in here. Flat out. Just like what would happen if a white kid would have stabbed a black kid. Okay? Ain't no different. There should be the law is, the lady with the scales has a blindfold on and stuff. Remember that? The blindfold? How things have changed. That's what happens when you have no judgment zones, where you're not allowed to be called out for your stupid acts. Okay? And you get told everything you do is great and is acceptable. And nobody can ever tell you did wrong. You can believe whatever you want. You want to believe you're a cat? Go for it. You want to believe you can be a girl, a woman, and have a baby even though you got something hanging between your legs? Go for it. But see, I'm not going to share in your fantasy. And I'm not going to, and I'll tell people he's living in a fantasy, okay? Or that, the pharmaceutical companies are out to save your life. Out to drain your bank account before you die. Remember, when I was young, only sick people went to the doctor. We were healthy as horses. Now you got healthy people going to the doctor, and everybody's always sick. It's curious to me. I mean, I know what the connection is. So I'll stay on pure blood. But anyway, well, I ain't got much here tonight. That's all I wanted to get on and talk about. So everybody needs to prepare. We got bad times coming down, whether it be financial. One thing about when inflation goes hyperinflation, we won't have to worry about welfare no more because there won't be a health and human services department anymore. It ain't going to help if they get $3,000 in food stamps, but a loaf of bread's $100. Okay. I know that could never happen here, right? Never happen here. Well, when the politicians are pushing for it, it's going to happen here. Anyway, that's all I got for this evening. Everybody have a good night. leave a comment. I always enjoy reading them. But there's one thing. YouTube, for some reason, doesn't let me see a lot of the comments. So I don't know if that's because they're all bad ones or whatever, but they don't let me see a lot of the comments. So anyway, this is Tom. I'm out.